Hey everyone, some very concerning news out of Australia. More of the ridiculous COVID-19 84 lockdowns, detainments, and get this story and just how much they're messing with this guy because he's not going along with the program. $50,000 fine or 12 months jail is being threatened on people for refusing COVID tests on the highway. Absolutely ridiculous. This example that we're going to look through today is a truck driver, somebody who's doing the necessary work to keep our society going. Yet these modern-day brown shirts are harassing him, they swatted him, they separated him from his family, they threw him and forced him into a hotel where he's being kept there essentially against his will. Now he's being threatened with $50,000 fine or 12 months in jail if he doesn't keep following their orders and jumping through their hoops. So let's follow through this as much as we can from the information that's available. Apparently he refused to take a COVID test, and they hunted him down, probably ran his license plate or something, or he gave his information maybe, and they sent him this letter. The chief health officer sends this direction. Medical examination. You must undergo a test for COVID-19 comprising the taking of samples in accordance with the Coronavirus Disease 2019 CDNA National Guidelines for Public Health Units from time to time, as soon as possible, and within 24 hours of receiving the letter, essentially. So this is basically requiring him to get tested as soon as possible and then over and over again after that. It's ridiculous. You have been given this direction because I suspect you of having COVID-19, and it is necessary for you to undergo a medical examination to determine whether you do have COVID-19 in the interest of preventing the spread of COVID-19. So they use the word COVID-19 in that sentence 3 times. I suspect you of having COVID-19. That's why we have to go to this. And then the second page here, the penalty and further enforcement of this direction. It is an offense for a person to fail, without reasonable excuse, to comply with this direction, punishable by a fine of up to $20,000 for individuals. If you do not comply with this direction, reasonable force may be used to ensure your compliance. And check this out. Look at this signature. Looks like a 4-year-old wrote this. And, the name is classic here. Karen, and the N makes a little circle around it. Like, that's your signature? You're literally rounding people up, and that's how you're going to sign the paper? All right. Noted. So apparently the man was not fazed. He did not submit to a test. And then this is what happened. It says right here on August the 12th, you were given a self-quarantine direction by a authorized officer. So that might have happened after that last notice and before this one. I wasn't able to find that. But apparently they told him, you have to self-quarantine. And I'm sure they also were still wanting him to take the test. I'm not sure if he has taken the test yet. So here's another authorized officer, Scott Matthew Warner. Following direction pursuant to my powers under sections 67, 70, and 72A of the Act, I have been authorized by the State Emergency Coordinator to specify a period under section 71A and B of this Act for more than 24 hours. Preamble. The purpose of this direction is to limit the spread of COVID-19. Yeah, that seems to be the only thing you guys are hyper-focused on right now. The only thing you're even considering right now. You're like, yeah, let's just turn the hotels into concentration internment camps. Let's just kill all the people who don't go along with the program. It's like, is that really for the greater good? Or are you guys just on a power trip? Commencement and effect. Basically, they say it will expire at 11:59 August the 26th, but this was a couple weeks ago, I believe. So they say you're no longer required to comply with the self-quarantine direction. And that's because he's no longer eligible for self-quarantine. He's going to be forced to quarantine in a hotel. Mercure Hotel in Perth. He has to keep staying there unless he's given another direction that supersedes it, or he has to leave to escape an immediate threat to his safety. I'm surprised they even put that in there. This doesn't seem to be about safety, or they wouldn't have taken him away from his family. They wouldn't have taken him away from his job. They wouldn't have stopped him from doing the essential work that keeps Australia running. And that is the supply lines that keep everybody fed and keep the products showing up on the shelves. It makes me so mad. It says he must immediately inform a person in authority at the Mercure Hotel if he develops or has recently developed any of the following symptoms. A fever of 37.5 degrees or above, that's 99.5 in Fahrenheit, or symptoms of acute respiratory infection, including but not limited to shortness of breath, a cough, or a sore throat, which could be from a whole number of other diseases. Those are in no way unique to COVID-19. And I'm sure they're also going to probably force him to get tested a bunch while he's there. I could be wrong. Even though these symptoms may not be caused by COVID-19, calling the number to tell someone is essential to your safety and the safety of everyone, and will help to ensure that you receive any treatment you need. Let me know in the comment section if you would call them if you got a sore throat. I'd probably keep that to myself. Now here's the kicker. You must comply with this direction. It may be an offense to fail to comply with this direction, punishable by imprisonment for up to 12 months or a fine of up to $50,000 for individuals. Now, I know everyone's looking at that $50,000 like, wow, that's so much money. 12 months in jail for a father. I mean, think about how much income you lose. Think about your ability to provide for your family, the loss of that parent in the household. Like, the 12 months in jail is obviously the worst punishment, but $50,000 is ridiculous. Shows you how much they are concerned with imposing their will on people. They'll bring up such sums as a punishment. I mean, $50,000 is a lot to people like us who don't have much money. So that is what I wanted to show everybody. Australia is really turning into Nazi-Australia, in my opinion. And this needs to really be called out, needs to be exposed. It's not the only incident. I've made numerous videos about the atrocities that are happening in Australia right now. Keep Australia in your thoughts and try to tell their story for them and get this out there, because a lot of people don't know because people see through the warped lens of mainstream media and tech algorithms.